I'm taking a starter deck to the Riftbound weekly Nexus Nights to try and go undefeated. But here's the catch. The only way I can upgrade my deck is with a new pack for every win and an old pack for every loss. And in this episode, I went to my first Nexus Night. Let's see how it went. Heyo, what up, and welcome back. I'm going to my first ever Riftbound Nexus Night tonight in just a couple of hours. And I have gone ahead and laid out my Zed Precon here so you guys can get a look at what the deck list looks like. I just wanted to shout out to everyone in the comments on my last video that gave suggestions on what things to change and what I should consider looking for. That was a huge help. Thank you so much. But this is quickly what I'm looking at right now in the starter deck. I'm going to go through each card in the deck and then maybe talk about things that we're considering changing. There were only 7 cards opened in the 2 packs that I opened in the last episode that I could actually add to this deck. And I have 5 of them set aside based on the comments that I got in the last video. If you'd like to make suggestions or recommendations on things to change, especially after you watch this episode and see the cards that I open, I have links in the description to show all of the cards available in the card pool that I can use, and a link to the current deck list, the living deck list. One thing that I totally forgot as well in the last video is the starter deck doesn't come with a sideboard, and I'm totally expecting the Nexus Night to have a best of 3. So I'm just going to put cards that are in my colors that can fit in the sideboard. So whatever's left over, I'm just going to toss it right in the sideboard. But let's just go ahead and go through these units here and talk about what I think should change or what you guys thought should change. Punching Poro, I generally think is not very good. This is something that was also resonated in the comments of my last video. Multiple people said that I should cut Punching Poro. It's just a 2 energy, 2 might unit that you can discard a card to make 3 might permanently, and discarding a card is a very steep cost, considering this deck has no way to draw cards. There is not a single card or battlefield, I think, in this deck that can generate more cards for you. There's card filtering, where you can discard and draw cards. So if you don't have cards in your hand, that is card advantage, but yeah, super steep cost, and Punching Poros, I think, are going to be on the chopping block, and I'll talk about what that's going to be replaced for in just a minute. So I've set aside the 5 cards that these were the main ones that were brought up in the comments on the last video. It was Brittle Steel, Perfect Execution, Dune Surfer, Tail Cloaked Matriarch, and Stargazer. So yeah, the cards that you guys were telling me to cut were Punching Poro, Blade Twirlers, and Morgana. Those were the ones that everyone had in common. I was also looking at cutting maybe the Shadow Blade Lurkers and this Shadow Assassin, but these cards get better the more of them you have in your deck, or I should say the inverse. They get substantially worse if you remove any number of them that isn't the entire package from the deck. As soon as you take one out, you might as well just take all of them out. But the cards that I'm really interested in adding is another copy of Perfect Execution. I think this card is going to be quite strong in this deck. I think it's going to pair really nicely actually with the card next to it, the Kinku Life Blade. Being able to give this unit ganking and then ready it so it can immediately go to another battlefield, I think is going to be quite strong if I can pull off something like that. So that I feel like I want to bring in. And these 3 Punching Poros I do want to take out. So we'll go ahead and take them off the mat here and make room. So that's 3 units out of the way, making room for 1 Perfect Execution. I also heard people suggest this Brittle Steel. It is a gear removal spell with flow, so you can always discard it. There's a few ways to discard in this deck. If you don't need it, again, you can just side it out or just discard it. So that accounts for 2 out of the 3 cards I've taken out so far. I guess I'm just going to put these right here so I can keep track of my unsleeved cards. And then another one people recommended was just a Dune Surfer. It is a 3 energy, 3 might unit that can ignore tank while assigning combat damage. I think it is just a solid unit. I actually don't have any other 3 energy units besides these 2 here at the bottom. So it seems like a totally fine unit to add, probably better than Punching Poro on average. And then I have to make 2 more cuts to make room for this Tail Cloaked Matriarch and Stargazer that you guys recommended. And I think I'm looking at cutting this Morgana, because Morgana really wants to have spells or other ways to deal damage to units. And I only have one way to do that in this deck, and that's this Ruthless Strike card. So Morgana, I think I'm going to say goodbye. And I'll just go ahead and swap her right out for another 5 energy unit, which is the Stargazer. Stargazer says, spells with flow you may play from your trash for 2 less. There's actually several flow spells already in this deck. Twilight Step, Perfect Execution, and I think that might be it. Oh, and brittle steel that I just added from you guys. So one more cut to make room for this tail-cloaked matriarch. A lot of people in the comments were recommending cutting these blade twirlers, and that seems totally fine. Okay, I've gone ahead and made the swaps. It's a little bit hard to tell what I've made changes here to, but I've got, of course, just the regular champion unit, just the red Zed. I don't love this guy as the champion unit. After tonight, once I try this deck a little bit, I might try swapping out the purple for the red, but we will see. Again, thank you guys so much for giving me suggestions and recommendations on stuff to change. I am quite new myself, so I'm learning as I go here. All right, let's pack this up and get ready to go to Nexus Night. It starts in a couple of hours, and next time you see me, I'll probably be talking about matchups. Then after that, I'm going to crack some packs and see what else we can change about the deck.
A few moments later.
Hey, yo, what up? I'm back from my first Nexus Night, and I'm excited to share how it went. I ended up only getting these 2 promo packs. I sadly went 0-3, which isn't necessarily unexpected. I didn't end up winning a single one of my games in any of my matches, but I'm still super excited. I get to open these promo packs, I get to open 3 older packs, and see what I can get to upgrade my deck with. This was my first time at that store that I played Nexus Night at, and it was really awesome. I mean, the people there were really friendly, and I had a great time. But as I said, I will be opening older packs. I have a box of Spirit Forged and a box of Origins here that I will crack into and open some older packs. But before we get to that, I did want to give a brief summary of how the games went. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but in round 1, I played against a Jace Dazzling Aurora deck, and I took some notes, but basically, you know, it was a really, not meta deck, but a really powerful deck to play against in my first round, especially as someone who has never attended a Nexus Night. My opponent was also kind enough to offer to play another starter deck against my starter deck that he knew that I was playing, but ultimately I just said, you know, play whatever you want to play. Like, I'm not here to try and get people to play other starter decks against me. Long story short, I got my butt handed to me both games against Dazzling Aurora. In round 2, I played against Azir, which is another quite popular meta deck. And if you're not familiar with Azir, they make a bunch of tokens, and they kind of go wide is a popular card game phrase for saying making a bunch of dudes. In round 2 against the Azir opponent, I think he was also just drawing really well. There was one point in the game where he played the signature spell for Azir, which is Arise, and then immediately the following turn, he had no cards in his hand, drew another Arise, and played it back to back. It was totally backbreaking because on the prior turn when he played Arise, I was able to actually deal with all of the units that he had stacked up on one battlefield. I traded most of my guys for all of his, and I dealt with all of them, and then he immediately drew another Arise off the top of the deck. It was pretty textbook Hallmark movie moment. And then in game 2, I actually didn't start with a 2-drop in my hand. I'm noticing that cutting all of those Punching Poros from my deck ended up hurting me a lot tonight. There were multiple games where I didn't have a 2-drop. I had to mulligan 2 cards and did not have any unit in my hand that I could play on turn 1. So hopefully, when we open some of these packs, I'll get some playable 2 energy units that I can add to my deck. And then in round 3, I actually played against Azir again. I think it was the exact same deck that I played against in round 2, and of course, I lost that match as well. A few of the people that I talked to were interested in why I was playing a starter deck and offered to help me go through the bulk and upgrade my deck, and I ended up telling the people that I was playing against, and the owner overheard the challenge that I am making for myself, this arbitrary challenge. They were all really excited, and I'm looking forward to sharing my update. I think this is going to be a really fun challenge, and I encourage you to try it if this is something you're interested in. Enough of that. Let's get into opening these packs, shall we? I think it'll be fun to open them on camera. So these promo packs will be open as soon as I get these boxes open. I think it'll be a little more fun to do maybe like 2 Origins and 1 Spirit Forged, because Origins are, you know, the OG stuff. So I'll start by opening the Origins box here. Might fast forward this part. I feel like I should have a knife. I'm always so bad at doing this. Alright, Origins box open. No box top or anything, so nothing super special here. Let's just get 2 of these Origin packs. Moving on to Spirit Forged. If you guys have any better methods for opening these boxes, let me know. Maybe I should keep like a knife or something on my desk. Okay, packs acquired. We've got 2 Origins, a Spirit Forged, and our 2 promo packs. I kind of want to start with the promo packs. I don't really know what's in these, so let's give this a try. Horns of the Dragon, a yellow card that I can't use. A red card that most people suggested that I cut from my deck. That's kind of funny. Ooh, and then a fancy Chaos Rune. Okay, that looks awesome. I can actually play that in my Zed deck, so it might as well, right? All right, very cool. Then we've got an Unleashed. The store is kind enough to give 2 promo packs tonight. We got one from Vendetta and then one from Unleashed. So let's see what is in here. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna bend these cards. One thing about Riftbound cards, they are really nice card stock. They're very thick, but it also means they're much more prone to creasing, is what I found. A blue card, which I won't be playing, of course, in my purple-red deck. Purple card, Sinister Poro. When I attack, you may pay 1 to move an enemy unit here to its base. That's a pretty steep cost of having to pay a power for that. Probably not going to play that card. Mutated Mouser. Very cute. I love the cat cards from the Unleashed set. Alright, promos down. That Chaos Rune is really cool. Alright, let's do Spirit Forged, and then we can move on to Origins from there. God, I'm brutalizing these pack openings. I just bent a card in the back that scared the hell out of me. I thought I bent. All right, let's get rid of that. I see something fancy back there, but I'm scared to look at what it is. Okay, so we got Desert's Call, a green card, blue card, red card, Void Drone. I cost 2 less to play from anywhere other than your hand. That doesn't seem like it would be particularly good in Zed. We've got this is a 2-drop, this is what I was just talking about. When I defend, you may kill me to move an attacking unit to its base. That doesn't seem super good. I don't know when this would come up. Let me know in the comments if this is something that's ever played, or, I don't know, a combo for something. A yellow card, which we can skip, and an orange card. I may have mentioned this already, but the orange color in Riftbound, I'm really drawn to for some reason. I couldn't tell you why. Let's move that out of the glare. Loyal Pup, when you defend the battlefield, you may move me there. That seems like it could be okay. 3 for 3 with a little bit of utility. Power Nexus. When you hold here, you may pay 4 power, rainbow power, to score 1 point. Don't know if I'll be playing that battlefield. Let me know what you guys think. Yellow, BF Sword. This is something one of my friends was looking for. Alright, Faye Porter. 4 energy for 4. When I move to a battlefield, you may pay an energy, or a power, sorry, to move a unit you control to the same battlefield. That also seems not bad. Akshan. Another orange rare here. And then we got... what is this? Skyfall of Arion? It looks like a special edition of some kind. Maybe it's not. It looks really fancy. Very pretty. I don't think I've ever seen this card. This is a card I could play. It is red. It says, my hold effects are also conquer effects and vice versa. I don't know if that's good. I think the only hold effects I have in my Zed deck are from a battlefield and my purple Zed. So yeah, I don't know if this is any good, but let me know in the comments. And that is the Spirit Forge pack. So let's get that out of the way. That card, this Skyfall of Arion looks so cool. Okay, moving on to Origins. First pack of Origins. Here we go. Oh, a Noxus Hopeful. Now, I've seen this card a lot. I'm pretty sure this card is very good. And this is maybe a card I should be considering adding to my Zed deck. This is almost certainly going to be making the cut. A blue card, so we can skip that. A green one. Pouty Poro. This is... I don't know if this is better than Punching Poro that I cut. It's just a 2 for 2 with Deflect. Not sure. Again, let me know what you think. Yellow, orange. Another purple card here with Undercover Agent. Sorry, I'll leave it here. Death Knell, discard 2, and then draw 2. This could be okay. it might be better, especially if I get more of these, to replace some of those other 5 energy units in my deck. Although I did notice tonight, one of the problems that I had with my Zed deck is that it was super power hungry. I found myself with like maximum 7 runes or 7 energy at most points in the game. Iron Ballista. This enters exhausted, deal 2 to a unit at a battlefield. So importantly, this can't be used on your opponent's turn. This is only slow speed, so during your turn. I don't think this is super good. Let me know what you think. Legend. I got a Yasuo. Again, something I can't use. Followed by Raging Firebrand. Okay, a red card. We've hit our first, red playable epic, I think? When you play me, the next spell you play this turn costs 5 less. I do play a bunch of spells in Zed, so like maybe there's something to be said about playing this guy. It's also a dragon, and in my first video I opened 2 Vendetta packs and I got a Dragon Roost Battlefield. So, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. First pack of Origins down. Okay, and our final pack of the evening. And this is where I open something really valuable and exciting, right? All right, up first, we've got Magma Worm. Other friendly units enter ready. That doesn't seem great. Probably not going to make the cut for Zed. Especially considering I just said most of the time I had 7 energy or less. So blue, green, Chemtech Enforcer. When you play me, discard 1. Oh, this could be good in Zed. I have a bunch of flow spells. This is certainly worth considering in that 2 energy slot. Oh, another Undercover Agent. Man, there was already a lot of filter in my games. In those Zed games, I had half of my deck or more in the discard pile in a few of them, which, I mean, that seemed pretty good. I had a lot of card filtering. But at most, I had 3 or 4 cards in my hand at any given time. I've been talking a lot tonight, so it's hard for me to speak. Dangerous Duo. When you play me, give a unit +2 might this turn. This seems okay. Probably not worth making a cut. Blue. Oh, a battlefield. What are we looking at? Units here have ganking. That could be good. I felt that the Kinku Lifeblade, I think is the name of the card, that you can empower to give might and ganking. That card actually mattered, and it came up a couple of times tonight, giving it ganking. So this could be good in the Zed deck. I did really like ganking in Zed. So worth considering potentially. An orange card that we can skip. What do we got? A Trendamere, a red card. When I conquer after an attack, if you assign 5 or more excess damage to enemy units, you score a point. This could come up. I mean, I had multiple turns where I was just giving my units big boosts with things like Perfect Execution, Gust Monk. So maybe I could play this as a top end in Zed. Let me know what you think. Tasty Fey Folk. Oh, I see. I thought this was a rare. Tasty Fey Folk. This card is green, but I've seen this card before. I think it's generally pretty good, though. Maybe something for my friend who is playing Nasus. I can let him get one of these. And that was the last pack. I'm going to go ahead and sort all of this into stuff that we can put in Zed, and we can talk about it. I tried my best here to align these in a way that sort of makes sense, from least mana cost to most, or I should say energy cost, least energy cost to most energy cost. I only opened 2 of one of these cards, and most of them are red. I've got battlefields at the top to consider. I don't really know if we're going to be considering either of those, but maybe ganking is worth it. And again, if you have any suggestions or recommendations that you think I should make, there are links in the description to the total card pool that I've opened, all of the packs, and that inventory, and then the current living deck list. I think a few of these are not really something I'd consider. I don't think Iron Ballista is going to be good. I don't think Blade Twirler is going to be good. It's one of the cards that I've already cut from my deck. But maybe Chemtech Enforcer is something worth considering. Maybe something like Trendamere is worth considering. I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say in the comments. Please let me know, and then for next week's Nexus Night, I'll make all of those changes and again record the video like I did today. This is really exciting. I really enjoyed opening all these packs, and it's been awesome to share it with people. I'm really looking forward to where this challenge goes and how this deck evolves over time. I think this is going to be really fun. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.